Hi everyone, I'm David Tate. I'm the winemaker and GM at Barnett Vineyards here. I've been here for 14 years now, and I'm really excited to be part of this event. First of all, I'd like to extend a big thank you to Chris, Mary, and Chef Greg and the entire Wine Vault team for coming up with this amazing idea. I think it's fantastic. Looking over the wines that we have for you and the menu, the dishes look absolutely unbelievable. I wish I could be enjoying them alongside you. But for now, what I'm going to do is we're going to move around the property, taste through the wines that you're going to have, and get a good sense of what it's like to be up here until you can come up here yourself in person one day. Hopefully I can come visit you as well. But before we go through the wines, I'm going to pass this over to the Barnetts, because who better to tell the story of Barnett Vineyards than Hal and Fiona Barnett. So here they are.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Fiona Barnett, and this is my husband, Hal Barnett.
Hello. Hi. Welcome.
I hope that you are all staying warm in sunny San Diego. We're a little bit cold up here. It's kind of a nice, foggy winter morning up here. We're very excited to be part of this wine dinner, and thank you for inviting us to show our wines during your dinner. We found the property in 1983. We were looking for about 6 months. We hired a land broker, and we looked all over the valley in different locations throughout Napa, and we finally came across this property and fell in love with it. We are 2,000 feet above the valley floor on the west side of the valley, and it was completely covered in trees when we bought the property. There was nothing on here.
And there were literally no improvements, no infrastructure, no roads, no water. There was no place to stay up here. So we continued to live in San Francisco until the house was complete and it was really ready to move in. Finally, in 1991, we just made the jump up here full time. So we've been up here since 91 full time.
And we raised our 3 daughters up here over the years. They were all married here, which was very special. And so were a lot of people that work with us were married up here, which was a lot of fun. But now we're not allowed to do any more weddings because the county says you're not allowed to do weddings. The first wine that we made was the 1989 Cabernet Sauvignon. We made 292 cases of that, which was very exciting. And our total production is about 8,400 cases a year, give or take, depending on the harvest. And we make a lot of different varietals. We started out slowly and then just started to expand and started to buy fruit from single vineyards all over Napa and Russian River. But most of our Bordeaux varietals come from Spring Mountain itself.
Yeah, all the Bordeaux varietals are estate wines. We think the 2018 vintage is stunning. We believe it's probably the best wine we've made since 2013, and the wines are just they're forward yet very intense, not so tannic that you can't drink them, but they will last for decades if you wish to put them down. So we're very happy and excited about the 18 vintage.
We want to thank you all for inviting us into your homes and letting us be part of your wine dinner. We're sorry that we can't be there in person, but hopefully you will come up and visit us at the top of Spring Mountain one of these days. So enjoy your dinner, and I hope you enjoy the wines.
Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you.
So here we are on the crush pad. This is where all the magic happens. You can see with the tanks, and the space right now is a quiet time. So perfect time to sit back and enjoy all the fruits of our labor. We're going to start with the San Giacomo Chardonnay. This is from Carneros, and Carneros is actually south of us here. And it's a weird relationship as far as the climate, in the sense that the further south you go in Napa, the cooler it is. And you want really cool, slow-growing, real cool weather for slow growing of the Chardonnay. So Carneros is actually around San Pablo Bay, which is an extension of the San Francisco Bay. So you got these wonderful, cool, foggy mornings, warm afternoons, and versus some of the heat-stricken parts of Napa where you might be picking Chardonnay in the middle of August, we're picking about the first week of October. So you get this nice, slow ripening and a lot more complexity to the wine and growing that in that kind of climate. So we're going to pour a little of it. We have the 2019 San Giacomo. The San Giacomos are the family that own the land and farm it themselves. We've been working with the San Giacomos for 28 years now. So really a long-standing relationship. They know the quality we're looking for. They farm for us for that quality level. We select from 3 different sites within their larger land holdings to get kind of cherry picking the absolute top quality that we can get out of it. And that really results in beautiful fruit. And you can't make great wine from bad grapes. You have to have great grapes to make great wine. So when the fruit arrives, we go straight to press and then straight to barrel, and we ferment in the barrel. So a nice long, slow fermentation in the barrel takes about 2 months, and you get a lot more fruit aromatics off of it from that. 20% new oak. And then that second fermentation, the malic acid to the lactic acid, you get, we do a partial of that. If you do 100% of that malic acid to lactic, that's that super butteriness that you can get. Here we kind of attenuate that to about 40% malic to lactic. Gives it some nice creaminess and some nice weight, but doesn't take away from the fruit. Same with that 20% new oak. A little bit of new oak really adds to some of the aromatics and flavor, but you don't want to use 100% new oak and again rob the fruit from the wine. So go ahead and smell it. Absolutely fresh fruit, big nectarine, peach coming off of it, some honeysuckle. And that kind of honeysuckle note and that peach, it's really going to go well with that caper mustard relish, charred mustard relish that you guys have on the Alaska butterfish there. So I think it's going to be a wonderful pairing. On the palate, nice, round, that excess malic acid refreshes the palate, so it's not like this oily, overweighted, kind of buttery, one-dimensional Chardonnay. You get so many layers to this wine and beautiful viscosity. So wonderful pairing for what you're having for dinner. Please enjoy, and we'll see you on the other side for the next wine. All right, here we are now. We're in the Barnett Cave. It's pretty sizable cave. It's mainly functional versus an entertaining cave. We have 350 barrels in here, so quite a few fit. But we do stack them pretty high, and we use every square inch of this place. It's really great to be tasting in here to give you a sense of the geology of Barnett Vineyards. Not what you see, unfortunately, we had to cover up the rock, but when we went to build the cave in 2008, the auger broke on the first day. We had to jackhammer the cave out. It's solid andesite volcanic rock here. And yet 15 feet through that rock were root tips coming from the vines that are above us. And it's really amazing how resilient these vines are, trying to find nutrients and water, finding the least path of resistance, and burrowing their way through the rock. And what that does, it puts a lot of stress on the vine, and stress is good for high-end wine. What happens is the vine then tries to balance itself out between self-preservation and a little bit of reproduction, and because it's a little bit, you get smaller berries, smaller bunches, and just amazing concentration out of the fruit. We get less than half the yield here on Spring Mountain than you would get down in the Napa Valley floor proper. So really great concentration, and that definitely exhibits itself in this Merlot. The Merlot is 100% estate, 100% Spring Mountain. We do a little bit of Cabernet Franc in here. I believe in the 2018 we added about 8% Cabernet Franc. So that Franc gives it a little more spice and backbone, because Merlot is always plush and velvety and lush, but it doesn't have as much tannin structure normally. So that little bit of Cab Franc gives it some tannin structure there. So let's go ahead and taste it. And the aromatics just jump out of the glass. Tons of plum, dark cherry, get a little bit of mocha, cocoa nib. And then true to type from Merlot, really plush, round, velvety, silky. And then you get those nice Cabernet Franc tannins that come in on the back end. So really well balanced, very fruit-driven style Merlot. It's going to go really, really well with that mushroom stuffed pork loin and that black garlic gravy. Not even fair that I don't get any. Absolutely stunning match. And now we're going to take you out and show you our landscape. So here we are outside at the tasting area that we use for Barnett Vineyards, and there's no question why. We have this wonderful 2,000-foot drop view of the valley floor, absolutely stunning. So again, one day when we get back to somewhat normal, we'd love to see you up here. But what's important, why are we growing up here on this crazy slope? We're growing at some points at a 38-degree slope down the face of the cliff. It's again that stress, stressing a vine out to get really small amounts of fruit, smaller berries, smaller bunches, and just amazing concentration. We have a beautiful southeastern facing slope, so really great sun exposure all throughout the day. And then there's almost no time at which there isn't a little bit of wind up here. We're on the Mayacamas range, the range that is west of the valley floor. So our back is to the Pacific Ocean, about 30 miles as the crow flies. So we always get these nice coastal winds coming off of the Pacific, which really moderates and slows down the ripening. We're picking it about a month and a half later than the valley floor. And so we get that long hang time, and again, that nice, long, slow ripening and flavor development curve. So that slow ripening, small berries, small bunches, just adds so much power and concentration to the wine. Again, you can't make great wine out of bad fruit. In addition, some of the vines we have up here are still some of the original vines that the Barnetts planted back in the early 80s. So again, the older vines, again, add a lot more complexity because they're much more further stressed out. And again, just squeak out a really small amount of fruit. We're going to go ahead and taste our foundation, our Cabernet Sauvignon, the Spring Mountain. This is what the Barnett started with, their very first release being in '89. Absolutely stunning wine coming from our own estate. Estate means that we have full control over all of the fruit, all of the farming of our land, and it adds an extra element of quality when you see estate bottled on a bottle of wine. So this is our cab. Stunning nose, just that wonderful cassis. There's a little bit of like coffee grounds. But there's some really interesting underpinning elements of ground pepper, even crushed violet. It's got a lot of layers to it. I'll go ahead and taste it. Wonderful mouthfilling. There's a little bit of Merlot in here to give it that nice texture, but then the cab tannins come right in. It's a very young wine right now, being the 18, but I think it's going to go phenomenally well with that hanger steak. You got those Parmesan mashed potatoes. Again, not fair that I'm not going to be eating it with you. But I'll give you a little background too on just the winemaking side, because of course it is important. Our Merlot and our Cab both aged for 22 months. I only use French oak. French oak is actually much more expensive, but the quality level is definitely there. So 22 months in new French oak, 75% new for the Cab, about 60% new for the Merlot. Adds a nice element to the flavor, but of course it's the slow maturation for 22 months that really rounds the wine out. Again, I think it's going to go great with this next course that you have with the hanger steak. Please enjoy, and we're going to head over to the point, get another vantage point for you guys to see this beautiful property. We're here at the point, called the Point for obvious reasons. It's a very point pinnacle of Barnett Vineyards, behind the Barnett's house. A really special place to to us and the Barnett family. The Barnett daughters got married here. I got married here. A number of our other staff members got married here. It's an absolutely beautiful view for people to be sitting facing us as the ceremony went through. Wanted to thank you for joining us and allowing us to be a part of this. Special thanks to Chris and Mary and Chef Greg and the team at the Wine Vault. Really appreciate it. During these challenging times, we're finding great ways to have fun still. We are looking forward to having you come visit us here, and we're definitely looking forward to getting out to sunny San Diego and seeing you guys out there. Thank you again for joining us. Cheers.